Hey guys, do you want to learn spoken English? Yes? Then what about written English? Don't you want to learn it? Let me know by writing yes or no in the comment section whether you really want to learn written English or not. Hello everyone, this is Ramzan Ali Super and I extend a warm and hearty welcome to all of you to the Super English Grammar YouTube channel. Before I give you some tips on how to speak English fluently, let us first understand the difference between spoken and written English so that I can give you some real and logical solutions and tips on how to speak English fluently. And that, my friends, you can use those tips to help yourself in learning to speak in English fluently. Spoken English and written English are the two important forms of the English language that differ from each other in many ways. Difference number one, informal and formal. Spoken English is generally informal. For example, speaking with your friends or having group discussion with them is quite informal, whereas writing newspaper articles, books or magazine is quite formal. Difference number two, requirements. The requirements of spoken and written English are very different because spoken English requires you to have good knowledge of pronunciation, sound production, intonation, stress, pitch and many more. Whereas written English requires you to know grammar rules, punctuations, complex sentence patterns and paragraph structures and many more. Difference number three, speed of production. Spoken English is generally faster than written English because when we speak something, we use words as fast as we can, keeping in mind that we are properly understood by others. But when we write something, we write it very slowly because we need to first think about the words and try to make use of the best and suitable words in our writings. In short, spoken English is concerned mainly with pronunciation, sound production, grammar and vocabulary, whereas written English is concerned primarily with complex grammatical rules, punctuations, complex sentence patterns and sentence structures and many more. Now, after having a close look at these facts and figures regarding spoken English and written English, I can say that to learn spoken English, you must place a special focus on four things. Number one, pronunciation. Number two, sound production. Number three, grammar. And number four, the vocabulary of the English language. Number one, pronunciation. Pronunciation is the way in which a particular word is produced or spoken. For example, the pronunciation of the word vision is vision. It is not vision nor vision. This sound is produced when you raise the front part of your tongue to the palate. Similarly, the pronunciation of the word verye is very. It's not very nor very. This V sound is produced when you raise your lower lip and touch it to the upper teeth. See how important the pronunciation is and how much practice is required for improving your pronunciation. So the first tip on how to speak English fluently is that you practice pronouncing at least 10 words a day, and you can use additionally Google Translate to listen to the correct pronunciation of the words. Number two, sound production. To speak in English fluently, you need to learn at least the basics of the sound system of English. In other words, you need to study the phonetics and phonology. These are the two subjects that deal with the sound system of the English language, in which you study 44 consonant and vowel sounds and how they are produced. So the second tip on how to speak English fluently is that you learn the 44 sounds and their production. Number three, grammar. Grammar means the rules of the English language that tell you how you should place words or phrases in a sentence or sentences in a paragraph. So to speak in English, you will at least go through the basics of English grammar. You will need to learn the basic tenses, parts of speech, modal verbs, conditional sentences, and wish clauses. So the third tip on how to speak English fluently is that you need to learn the basics of English grammar. Number 4, vocabulary. Vocabulary means the words of the English language. Although you have learned the basics of English grammar and also you have a good knowledge of the pronunciation, you cannot express yourself properly without sufficient words. So you need to have a good working vocabulary of the English language to communicate effectively. So the fourth tip on how to speak English fluently is that you increase your vocabulary by listening, reading and memorizing. Number 5, idioms and phrases. In our everyday conversation, we use not only words but also idioms and phrases. So the fifth tip on how to speak English fluently is that you learn idioms and phrases and use them in your conversation. Finally, I express my thanks to all of you to give your precious time. Thank you so much. See you soon in the next video.